Hello and welcome to episode 95 of Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm April Perry, and here at Learn, Do, Become, we help people who are drowning in the details of their personal and professional lives to create simple systems so they can do what matters most. And in today's podcast, I'm actually talking with my friend Robin Long, who teaches Pilates online, and I was talking with her community about how calendars and lists actually are the keys to reducing so much stress. We recorded this class in March of 2020, so it was kind of right when everything was shifting in the world. And we really were talking about how to get back to the basics of organization. I was so excited to get to talk with her Pilates group because I'm in that group. I'm on over 100 consecutive days of Pilates now, which has been really fun. And while we're not really talking about Pilates, we're talking about how to get organized and how to be able to build good health into your routines and into your life. I'm hopeful that this class will be helpful for you, just as I hoped it was helpful to her community. So enjoy the podcast. I hope that as we go back to these basics, you can think about how you are doing them in your life, how things are moving forward, how you're incorporating a really strong calendar, strong list building, the right kinds of lists into your life. And if you're brand new to Learn, Do, Become, make sure you've attended our free class. It's called How to Finally Stop Drowning in Piles. And you can find that class at learndobecome.com/step. We will have a link to where you can learn more about Robin and her Pilates class, as well as links to how you can learn more about what we do at Learn, Do, Become on our show notes page, which is learndobecome.com/episode 95. Okay, thanks so much. Enjoy the podcast.
I'm just thrilled. This is April, everyone. This is my dear friend April. Some of you who have been in the sisterhood for a while now probably recognize her because she has come into our group before, but she's back again. And April is a good friend of mine, and we met a couple of years ago now, actually in a group that supports online business owners. So we could kind of come together and learn from one another and connect with one another. And we immediately clicked and hit it off because of the ways in which we are passionate about the work that we do. So I am here through The Balanced Life, as you guys know, providing Pilates workouts and guidance and tips and resources to live a more balanced and healthy life. And April has a very similar mission, just in like a different avenue for getting there. But both of us have a passion for helping people find more peace and more balance in their lives. So April, do you want to just give a little introduction of who you are and what you do, like where your area of expertise is?
Yes, well, and absolutely. I am one of the sisterhood. I think I've been in for 2 years. I'm a paying member. I come every month. I was showing Robin, I've been tracking my Pilates. I've been kind of on and off for a couple of years, but now I'm like 59 days in a row. I've been doing Pilates at least 10 minutes a day.
Awesome.
Loving it. So I'm on the beach with Robin every morning and really love being part of the sisterhood because I think I'm like your ideal student, where I love what you're teaching as a sisterhood member. I want to get in shape. I want to be able to have easy workouts I can do to balance my family and work. I want to be strong. I want to take care of myself, all the same things. And so what I do at Learn, Do, Become, my husband, is we help people who feel overwhelmed, people who are drowning in the details of life and feel like, I've got thousands of emails or piles of paper, or my house is a mess, or I feel like I have too much going on at the same time, can't fall asleep at night, my mind's always spinning, that kind of thing. And we teach people how to build what we call a STEP command central. STEP is our program called Steps to Everyday Productivity. We show people there's actually a step-by-step process to get rid of anything that is a mess and to be able to create peace and order and have systems that feel amazing. So we're going to talk about some of the main principles of that today and how we can apply that to Pilates and to how we're actually taking care of ourselves.
Yes. And it's perfect because for those of you who follow along with the monthly missions, this is the end of March, and our mission this month was and is to find realistic and manageable ways to help reduce stress in our lives. So we did the Strength and Stress Relief Challenge, and we've been just kind of all month focusing on how to release stress from our body and our daily life. Now, I had no idea when we picked this monthly mission what would be going on in the world right now. And it could not have come at a better time, meaning the mission, not the pandemic.
Right. Sure.
A time when we are all already in the mindset of how we can manage stress through, exercise, Pilates, breathing, daily movement, but also setting up our surroundings, or starting to think about what are some of those things in life that are overwhelming and adding more stress to our life. And so that's why I thought, April, would you just come in? I want to provide a perk for our members who are right here with us. They're like, okay, life is changing right now, especially. And we had this planned well before everything is going on. But now so many of us are home. Routines have totally changed. The demands of the day have totally changed. I'm fully working from home with 4 small kids at home. Thank goodness for nap time. That's how I'm able to be here right now. Yeah. And so I just want you to go ahead and bring whatever you have for us. I see Brandy's here. Hi, Brandy. To just guide us through some doable ways, because everything we do in the sisterhood here has to be realistic and manageable, to just kind of get rid of a little bit of that overwhelm that we might be feeling in our life right now. So
absolutely. And that's where I can speak as an expert. I'm not a Pilates expert. My daughter was laughing because I said, hey, I'm teaching Robin's class Monday. And she's like, you're teaching Pilates? I'm like, no, I'm not teaching Pilates. I'm teaching like productivity and all this. But this morning she was watching me do my Pilates routine. I was doing your March 30-minute one. And she's like, Mom, you're actually doing this pretty well. Like, you could teach it if you could talk. Can you talk through it? I'm like, no, I can't talk through it yet. So I wouldn't even try. But she was like, I think you've kind of got this. Anyway, it was cute. So what I'm teaching is the vision of how you can actually approach this without feeling overwhelmed. And one of the things that I really work on is making sure that I'm authentic in what I teach and explaining, like, I get it. We have 3 children at home. Most of them are teenagers. My husband and I work from home running our business. So I'm right in the middle of the business, the children. I just lost my dad like a week or and a half ago. So we're going through all of that. Plus I'm like checking the news, checking how are things going? When are the kids going to be able to go see friends again or go back to school? So I'm in it with you. But I will tell you, this morning, after I did my workout and I was getting ready and doing my things and going through my normal routines, which we're going to talk about today, I felt so calm. I felt really peaceful. I felt excited about the day, excited about what I could control, even though I acknowledge there's a lot of hard stuff going on. And I felt like, okay, we've got this. The house is organized. The kids got their routine going. I know what I'm working on. Our business is moving forward. Everything's going to be okay. And I want that to be something that I can help share, because I know how it feels to be on the other side of it and to feel like everything's hard. I'm exhausted. I'm depleted. I don't have what it takes. I understand that side of it. But I'm hopeful. I'm just going to share some really simple ideas that you can actually implement today. And my goal is that each one of us can feel this lift and feel excited about our lives and what we can control, and actually have some tools to help us do that. So does that sound good, Robin? Is kind of
yes, that sounds great. Yes.
Okay.
And those of you who are just joining us, just remember you're welcome to chat along and ask questions and kind of join us in that way. I see Meg and Brandy in there right now, so feel free to chime in.
Awesome. And right now, what I'm going to do, Robin, is I'm going to full screen and start showing the slides. Okay. So if there are certain questions, you go ahead and stop me, and then you can just ask the questions, and I'll go from there. Does that sound good?
Sounds good. Mm-hmm.
So this is our little title. What we're talking about today. Basically, we're talking about why these calendars and lists are the keys to reducing stress. And we're just going to go through 4 really simple things today. Okay. So first is we're going to talk about the concept of a really simple, mostly open calendar. I know right now a lot of us feel like, well, I've got a very open calendar because everything's been canceled. But we're going to talk about how to actually make that even more simple, because so much of productivity or overwhelm has to do with what's happening inside our brains. And so just visually feeling like our calendars are an open canvas, that's going to be huge. Second, we're going to talk about a streamlined next actions list, and especially some ways that we can make it uniquely specific for what we're going through right now. And then third is that tiered current projects list, which really this is the key to me not feeling overwhelmed when it comes to trying to accomplish big things, including things like trying to get into better physical shape or trying to implement something like, oh, I'm in a new program, or maybe something in your business you're working on, or, learning how to homeschool the kids, right? All these things that we're going through. And then finally, it's the solid routines list. So these 4 things are really, really core. Kind of like in Pilates, when we talk about, the powerhouse or strengthening your core. These 4 things for the system that I teach, these are the core. Now, there's other things like, oh, how do you file papers, and how do you organize emails, and how do you there's a lot of other things you can do with papers and digital resources and things like that. But it really all comes back to these 4 things. If you do these well, the rest of it is a lot easier to implement, but you really can't give up on these because this is what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're just going to start talking about the calendar. Simple, mostly open calendar. The idea is that we want to get away from having a calendar that feels cluttered. And what most people do is they either don't schedule anything and they just keep it all in their heads, or they schedule like every hour and then nothing goes as planned, and then they end up moving things around. Do you see that, Robin, or you get what I'm talking about?
Yes.
It's like general.
Yes. And I feel like I've vacillated between the two over the years. Either it's like all in my head, or I'm like, oh, I need to get this together. So then I schedule everything. So yeah, I can relate. And especially with children, or even just anything in the world, rarely does something go exactly as planned. Right. So the idea is that, yeah, especially right now. So the idea is that we're going to take most of what people typically put on their calendars, and we're going to move them to the other lists I'm talking about, especially the routines list, projects list, next actions list, those other 3 parts of this core we're talking about. We're going to take them off the calendar. So our calendar only has things that have to be done that day, and it's going to feel really, really simple. So like today, I had this class, and then I have like 5 tasks that have to be done today. And then other than that, nothing's on my calendar. Now I have routines and projects, and I'm keeping busy because I have a lot on my plate, just like you do. But the calendar itself feels beautiful and open. So that way I'm never having to battle that voice in my head saying, oh, you're late. Oh, this is coming. Oh, you only have 5 more minutes. Oh, you're behind. Because that voice is really what frustrates you most of the time. And so because my calendar is mostly open, I had a lot of flexibility this morning. And so I did set aside some time, like I did my Pilates from 11:30 to noon, because I had to spend the morning in a meeting. My husband and I had some stuff we needed to do. My son needed help with a test. I had to proctor to send to his teacher. And then my daughter needed to come in. She had some questions. And we had some closet stuff we need to put away. I mean, you know what I mean? It was like all these things were coming in. I didn't shower till 12:30. But because my calendar felt open, I feel more like, hey, I'm the master of my day. I get to decide what I do. And it gives anyone who feels like, oh, I love to just kind of be more spontaneous. It gives you that capability because you don't have as much on the calendar itself. So does that make sense? Any questions with that? Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. It doesn't feel as rigid of a way of approaching things. So.
Okay, so open calendar, and I use Google Calendar, super simple. And I just want that to be a foundational principle. We're not going to pile a ton on our calendar. Now, I do like it, like in the Sisterhood, you have the calendar option that you can put your workouts on the calendar. Great. If you want to do that and have it as a scheduled thing for you and a time you protect, beautiful. But if you feel like, oh, that's actually getting stressful to me because I get interrupted so much, I'd rather have that as a routine, which is what I do. I'll show you how to do it. You do that as well. So there's, of course, you do it the way it's going to work for you, but that's just a foundational thing.
Okay. I do have one question.
Okay.
What about, so for me, I have on there, like, you should see my Google Calendar, April.
Okay.
But I do use different calendars, but I have things like childcare, like when Melissa is here, or when Kincaid has baseball, or like things like that. Do you recommend keeping those on a separate calendar, or keep those on your calendar or somewhere else? Like, what works for you in that regard?
I feel like anything that's an appointment that you need to be aware of, I think that's fine if that's on your calendar. You could always create it as a separate layer, where if it's not your physical body needing to be there, you could have that a different layer. Like, so
that's what I'm thinking, because I have a childcare calendar, but I show it all the time. So, but I don't need to. Like, at this point, it's pretty routine. So, but I could have it there in case something changes, but I could click it off. So
right.
maybe it's just
I
kind of
love that. So I create like a triggers layer, same thing. So it's things like my friends' birthdays that are coming up, or like my son who's a junior, he has right now a Zoom class with his math class every Monday and Wednesday at 10. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just put that as a layer on my calendar so I can see, hey, just because not that I don't 100% trust my 16-year-old to show up for his math class, but you know, like if I just want to be able to see it, I don't have to be there. And if he misses it, it's not that big of a deal, but I need to kind of have that available so I can just kind of look at it. Same thing, my husband's calendar. I have his as a separate layer. Okay. I have our team calendar as a separate layer. So I know, oh, there's a Q&A going on today or something like that. But it's, as long as it's not my color, then I can turn them off, or I can just focus and say, what do I have to do today?
Okay. I like that. That's helpful.
All right. Ready to jump to the next one?
Yes. Ready.
Okay. A streamlined next actions list is what has saved my life. And the reason why is because I have 3 boxes. I just cleaned out my closet last night in my office. I have 3 boxes of all my planner pages. So I love like Franklin planners. I've been using one of these since I was 13 years old. And I have all my like planner, all my years of planner pages put together. But what I did for most of my life is I would write a list of everything on my, like a mind sweep, basically. Anything in my brain. I'd write it down every day, and then I would get like one thing done, and then I would forward them all to the next day, and I would rewrite all of them, and I would do that over and over and over again. So not only was I wasting all this time rewriting things, but I was feeling like a complete loser every day because I'm like, oh, I never get anything done on my list. So what I do instead now is have a super simple next actions list. Now, I actually do mine on my little bookmark. It's inside my planner. So I have the categories that you see here. I have them like this on my little bookmark. This is a weekly list. Now, right now, I'm not doing a ton of errands. I am doing some errands, but you could also make this list something that's more specific when you're at home. So it could be like, oh, I'm home when the kids are asleep, home when the kids are awake. This is stuff I do when I'm in the living room, things I do when I'm in the office. I mean, you could adapt this. But the idea is that you create context. Now, this is from David Allen's book, Getting Things Done. When I learned this, it totally changed my life. So what he does is creates these contexts, and you think, okay, for all those tasks that are flexible, like I don't have to do it today, but I don't want to forget it, and I probably need to do it this week. You write them down on this context-based list that's just going to hold it there for a week, and then you check it when you're in the appropriate context. So like, for example, right now, on my phone calls list, I have 2 phone calls I need to make. One is I need to call about the sleep study that I was doing. Second is we need to change the credit card on our trumpet rental for our son. So I don't have to do them today. It's not that big of a deal, but I want to do it sometime this week. So I just have them written right here on my phone list. And then when I have time where I'm like, oh, I can make some phone calls right now, I can just pull out that list, make all the calls because I'm grouping it together. Or like, oh, some home tasks I could do. Oh yeah, I need to trim our dog's face and legs. So we have a golden doodle and she's growing and the groomers are closed. So I'm like, well, we gotta go trim the dog. You know, that's something I need to do. But this is what's going to help free up your calendar and free up your task list, is take things that don't have to be done right that day, but put them on this weekly list. And you want then the concept of a next action means it's not a project and it's not a sub-project. It's not something that has multiple steps. It's something that's so boiled down that you wouldn't ever feel overwhelmed looking at it. You want your list to feel like, oh, I could do that. So everything on my next actions list needs to make my heart lift, not think, oh, wait, I can't do that because first I have to talk to so-and-so, or first I need to check on that. You know, it needs to be stuff you could just do with zero hesitation.
Right. Okay.
So that's the idea of that list. Any questions on that, or?
Yes. So I have questions.
Okay. Yeah.
But I love this. So like, clean out the closet would be a project probably, right? Because that's like,
well, depending on the closet. If it's like all you have to do is move 5 boxes and put a couple things in, you could do it in 10 minutes. That's a next action.
Okay. But like go through your clothes, reorganize.
Total project.
Not on this list. Okay. And then you have yours written in your planner, which I know is great because a lot of people have pen and paper planners and some people are all digital. So what is this in a digital thing here, this picture, or do you have where is this?
So this is Asana. Asana. There's like Basecamp, Trello. There's lots of different options. Asana I love, and we use this every single day. I organize my projects into Asana, and the reason I made this one is because you could easily make in Asana you can make a project level. You could call it next actions, and then these are just these sub like categories inside that, where you could write them down. You can even add little calendar triggers, like, oh, I do need to go run by and get the tires changed or whatever needs to get done. And then you think, well, it's flexible this week, but if I don't get to it by Friday, I do want a little calendar trigger to pop up to remind me to do it. Mm-hmm. So I try to keep the deadlines off of this. Okay. I try to have as few deadlines as possible, because if you've ever used either a task management app or a project management app, if you miss a deadline, it turns red, and
I have a lot of red right now.
Yes. And the goal is that when you open it, no red ever.
You want to be in the green. Okay, That's good. So she's referred to Asana. That is what we use day in, day out, the whole Balanced Life team. But I love that it is also great for personal. Yeah. And you can use it for free, and it's like checklists. It's so great. So, but yeah, I have a lot of red right now. So I hear you're speaking to me.
Yes. We're going to get rid of, and we'll talk about more of that in the project section. Yeah. But like, if I ever have red, I can seriously take 1 minute, reprioritize, but I'm not reassigning. I'm mostly getting rid of dates.
Well, and this makes sense to me, because a lot of my reds right now are actually not things that I'm late on. They are things that like could be on a list like this that really aren't that time sensitive. That's why I haven't done them, right. Finish the kids' Easter baskets.
Yes.
Like I didn't need to do that last week. I would have liked to, but I didn't. Yeah. So it's in the red. But so it doesn't, so I can see the difference. Whereas if I need to get a new workout out for the sisterhood, or something like that actually needs to happen. I don't need to have red on those. Those are date specific, and I will hit that every time.
Yes. And it's that balance, right? Because you don't want to only prioritize things that are urgent. You also, you want to prioritize those fun things like, Easter baskets, or something special for you that oftentimes it's so easy to just forget. But what I've been trying to do is I add deadlines to the extent that I need it to become a habit for most things. Not like a project like the Easter baskets, but if it's something like, okay, I'm going to be doing my Pilates workouts, you might make a deadline and make it so that you actually have to check it off every day, right? But then eventually take that off. Good. I love it.
Yeah, that's great. And I just want to remind you guys who are here too, you can pull up the chat box and you can type in and ask us any questions if they come up. So I'm watching those while April's presenting. So, okay, this is
all right.
Great.
Ready? Next one?
Ready.
Okay, so now we're talking about the tiered current projects list. And this is actually, I think, going to be another way to think about it that might actually help with balancing family and profession, personal things that you're working on. So the concept of this is when you ask most people, and Eric and I have done live webinars for more than 100,000 live participants, and we've taught this to probably about 500,000 people. So we've been doing this for like 10 years and teaching. And this is something that like we know how most people work, right? Mm-hmm. So when you ask people like, how many projects are you working on at the same time? It's typically hundreds. If you actually were to write down every project you're doing, personally, I'm working on this, I'm reading this book, or I'm working on my new exercise, or I'm trying to eat healthier, or I'm taking this class, and family, you can get like hundreds because I've got to clean the closets, and we got to get a new car, and we got to do, right? All these things going on with the kids. Someone has like a scalp issue. We got to get the dermatologist. I mean, there are so many projects that you're working on in a family, and you add in a business, if you're trying to balance a business or you're doing volunteer work in the community. Now there are thousands of potential projects that you could be working on. And what happens is most of the time, and I've gone into so many people's Asana project lists or Trello project lists, and they'll show me, here's all my projects. Even let's just talk professional ones for a minute. People will seriously walk through and they show me like 50 to 60 projects that they're like, we're doing this and we're doing that. And I say, okay, so how do you decide which one you're working on like today, like this week? And I've talked to people who are working at high-level companies, making a lot of money for what they're doing. And honestly, this is what they say. Well, I go to a meeting, and then whatever we talked about in the meeting, when I finish, I just like go into my office and I start working on that.
Or if I get emails about something, I just kind of start working on that. So people are bouncing from project to project to project to project, and then they get interrupted, and then the email comes, and then something urgent happens, and then something breaks, and so people are like bouncing around hundreds of projects for themselves, their family, and their business. And then they wonder why nothing's getting done, and they beat themselves up and they think it's their fault. Does that make sense? Have you heard this as a challenge?
Yes, like, this makes a lot of sense.
Most of the world is struggling with. Yeah. Okay, so how do we solve it? I think that's the bigger question, because that used to be my problem too, where I just felt like I am constantly at the mercy of everyone else's needs and of everything that goes wrong. And because anyone who's here listening means you want to be responsible, you want to be dependable, you want to do a good job, most likely you're responding to fires and you're putting out fires all day long. And that's a terrible way to live, because you're just going to feel depleted. So here's what we do. We create, and I do this in Asana, I just kind of created this as a visual, but we create 4 tiers. Now, the current projects list, this is like 7 or 8 projects maximum, including all 3 areas of your life, your personal life, your family life, and professional or volunteer work, okay? So I have a list. I actually take my current projects list and I have it in Asana, but I also put it on a chalkboard hanging in my office. It was a whiteboard, now it's a little chalkboard, but I have my projects and I say, this is what I'm doing this month. It's 7 to 8 maximum. Now, if I were to go to a conference and get a new idea, or I watch a new video, or I do something, I'm like, ooh, I actually want to do that project. That's fine. But if that new project comes onto current, one of those current projects has to move down. So you kind of think of it like American Gladiators. Remember, they would have the jousting, people on there. It's like that. Your projects only, you can't have 10 projects up there. You can have 7 or 8, but otherwise you got to hit them off, right? And you got to protect that. Because the minute you start getting 12, 13, 14, 15 projects on here, your subconscious stress level is just going to keep rising. And then you're going to say, I can't do it. And you're going to have a meltdown and you're going to start yelling at your family and you're going to say, like, forget it. Why do I even try? You're going to cancel everything and you're just going to be like, I'm so done, right? Anyone been there? I've totally been there. Like, more meltdowns than I want to admit. But I'm actually to the point I rarely have meltdowns now, which is huge for me because I thought it was just part of being a woman, to be honest. Like, now I'm learning, like, no, you can actually prevent them. So you have a small number of current projects. Then in progress and waiting, and I actually have my projects list in Asana, and then these are the subcategories. So just like we had like errands, home, that type of thing as written as a subcategory, I have these written as subcategories.
April, I want you to know I am literally taking notes.
Oh, you're so cute.
Everything you're saying right now.
Oh my gosh, it changes my life. And our whole team does this. We all work Asana, and it's like there is no stress around projects because we can visually see what we're doing and we know how to prioritize and how to move. So it's like, we're never just feel like we're piling on each other's plates. We just feel like, okay, what's the next priority and how are we going to adapt, right? Yeah. You're constantly adapting. So in progress or waiting means that the next action has already been done, but you're waiting for someone else to do something or for some date to arrive before you can continue. So for example, we're trying to adjust our order forms and trying to change some of the fields. We have an appointment tomorrow with the company that creates the order forms. So there's nothing I can do on this project today because we've got this meeting tomorrow. So I'm just going to move that project into in progress or waiting because then my brain says it's good. It's taken care of. My calendar will remind me to get to the appointment. Nothing. And then after the appointment, I'll figure out where it needs to go. But that's kind of where we are. So, because a lot of times people will be like, well, what if I'm focused on one project, but I'm kind of stuck on it. I can't do anything yet because I have to wait till I get paid or I have to wait till, whatever happens. It's fine. You just stick it here and you can create a little calendar trigger to remind you to come back to it if you're afraid you're going to forget about it. That way your mind says, I'm okay. Nothing to stress about, right?
Yeah. Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
When you say calendar trigger, do you mean like a little reminder, like a calendar reminder or... I know in Asana, it might be different if someone was using, I don't know, another. Yeah,
there's a couple ways to do it. So calendar trigger basically means when I check my calendar each day or check my phone, on that day, something's going to pop up to remind me to consider this. So the way I do it is in Asana, you can create a date, and then I get a daily email from Asana, and I just open it and look and see, okay, what do I have today? Mm-hmm. And then if anything's red, it shows up, but my goal is never to have anything red. The goal is just like, it's easy. Okay. The other way you can do it is you could say, I'm going to create a Google Calendar reminder. And again, I have layers. So I have one called Calendar Triggers, where I put like the birthdays, those things we talked about, where I don't have to be there. Mm-hmm. I have it pop up as a trigger, and I have it set to email me a notification. So when I'm processing my email, I get a quick little trigger like, oh, hey, have you followed up with that? If I want. So the goal is that once you put it where it needs to go, you've created the calendar trigger, you've put it in progress.
Yeah.
You need to say in your mind, okay, how am I going to be reminded of this? When will I see it again? And how will I make sure that this is totally safe? How do I know it's safe? Because once your brain says, oh yeah, I'm going to get a calendar trigger by email on April 3rd, and I check my email every day, so I know it's safe.
That's huge. Yeah. Because what I hear and what I can experience in my own life, you saying that, is that like the constant juggling that we all do in our head all day of, oh my gosh, I got to do that. I can't forget. I can't forget to order those things. Oh, that date is coming up. I can't forget to do that. And they live in our head. So hearing how you say that is like, okay, it got into a categorized place, and I know I'm going to get a reminder. So my mind can actually let go of it and actually be a little bit more clear to focus on other things. I don't have to like try to keep it. Like, see how I'm such a visual person, right?
Yes.
I like feel like it's in the waiting back here, and then I can actually like let it go for a minute and have some more space to think.
That is it. And that, what you have just described, that is what I'm explaining. Because imagine if you could have that peace of mind with everything in your life.
Yeah.
Every task, every project, every paper, every goal. If all of it was safe and your mind was like, if that constant voice was just calm and you had mental clarity and your mind was never spinning again, that's life-changing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why I'm so passionate about this, because that's what I finally have. And I didn't for my whole life. Starting when I was 9, I was like spinning. My brain started spinning around the age of 9. And then it got bad once I started having kids, because it was like, now I don't even have time to work on anything. And it's like coming at me so fast. Mm-hmm. So when I learned this, I just started teaching all my friends, and I like was bringing people over to my house, and I couldn't stop talking about it. And now I've been talking about it for like 12 years.
And changing lives. So I love it, because I can just already feel like, yes, if I can make sure that I'm going to get that reminder and I know it's in its place where it should be, then I can actually let it be.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So we talked about current projects, your small number. We talked about in progress or waiting, those ones that someone else is going to do something on or a date will come. Next in line is simply where you put the projects that you can't do right this minute, but you're going to do them next. So you know they're safe there. So every week, like I sit down with my team, I sit down with Eric, and we look at our life and we say, okay, what's on our list for this week? Is this the most important thing we should be doing in our family? Is this the most important thing that we should be doing in our business? And if we need to move some things from next in line up and take some things from the current, move them down, we do. But it also helps conversations, because let's say your spouse says, oh my gosh, we've got to go get some emergency supplies together, right? Like, we don't have enough to last us for this time. Or, hey, we've got to go get some things set financially, or we need to, whatever it is. When someone in your life, whether it's a team member, a spouse, a client, someone comes to you and they bring you something that's important, it is the best thing to be able to open up your projects list and say, okay, let's work together and decide where that goes. Priority. Is that more important than this other thing we were going to do? What do you think? And you can counsel. And then what's been so great is, because Eric he's the visionary and he can see what needs to happen. He'd come to me and be like, okay, April, we got to do some YouTube ads and we got to get this other thing. And he would give me like 12 things to do. And then I would just cry and be like, I can't do everything. Why are you being so mean to me? I would just freak out about it. Now I'm like, I'm so glad you can see this great vision. Where do you think it should go? And we sit and prioritize. And he's like, oh yeah, that one's not that important. Or, okay, yeah, we could wait on that. Yeah, that's better. You're doing that. And then he can see it visually and we can just have the conversation. So anyway, I know not everyone works with their spouse, but like that, I know you do.
Right. But there's some context there. Okay. Quick question about that as you're saying this. because I'm thinking of myself, but I'm also thinking of all the people right now who are juggling family or volunteer or like other things they're in charge of maybe right now, but then also work. And now that we're home, like there's just, for us, you and I, we work from home. It's always been very blended. We're also business owners, so we kind of have that blend, but now I feel like more people are feeling the blend more than ever. So do you tackle this, like your current projects, is it work projects and personal projects intermixed? Or do you have like, okay, here's all my personal, like family stuff that I want to be doing. And then these are like my work things, and same system, but two different
100%. Categories. So what I do in Asana is we have a Learn to Become team. You know, you can set up teams. So I have a Learn to Become team. Each member of our team has their own projects list, but we also have a team project list. So what we do is we take all of these, what you see here, they're all on the team project list, but they also reside on the list of the person who owns the project. So when we have a team meeting, we can look and say, okay, here's what we all are working on. The whole team's working on this, but Annie's working on that, and Danielle's working on that, April's working on that. And we have it organized so that we can see, oh, we're all working, but you know, this is what we're in charge of. Then I have a separate team called April's Personal Asana, basically, like April's Personal Projects. So I have one in there called April's, just like for me, this is just for April. Like I'm trying to learn Swahili because we have a trip. Well, maybe we're going to Kenya. I don't know now. Right now we'll go at some point. But I'm trying to learn some Swahili. That's a little personal project of mine. I'm working on strengthening my routine in Pilates. I'm actually reading a book. I got 2 books on Pilates at the library. Super excited about that. I know it's so fun. And they're like, we're closed, so you can keep them as long as you want. So I'm like, I am reading my Pilates book. It's great. So those are like some personal projects. And then I have another one called Family. And this is where things that we're working on as a family, stuff organizing in the home, we're planting a garden, and we are looking for a new van right now. I'm working on investing with Eric, learning how to do that. So it's things like that, but I keep those separate. So that way my team doesn't have access to that. So I can put anything personal I want on there, but I have it all in Asana. And then what I do is once a month, we create the little chalkboard. But once a month, I look at personal, family, and business and kind of create the dream for the month. And then every week, as I'm preparing for the week, I do a quick review, like a minute. But what's awesome is every single month, I'm just knocking out projects. Like it almost feels like magic because it's not hard. I have them broken into next actions, super simple. I'm moving things. I simplify. I get rid of as many projects as possible because I'm trying to just do what's essential. But the more I'm getting rid of and editing my life, and then just keeping my eye on what's most important, I feel just a general sense of peace. And like right now we're in a situation where like our goal is to triple our business this year. And we're actually like on track to do that. Like it's moving forward. So the business is moving forward. Our family, we're working on family values, strengthening family, learning how to raise teens. I've been taking courses on raising teenagers. I'm getting more sleep, like all this stuff that I've needed so desperately. Like we're making it happen in a very doable, paced way. So, okay. Any other thoughts or questions on that? And I've kind of covered.
No, that's great. Quickly. Okay. We have a question from Ria. Little side note question. Okay. What are the Pilates books that you're reading?
Okay. One of them is
desperate to get some.
Well, these are just 2 I found at the library, but one is called The Pilates Body. I don't know if you heard of that one.
Is that by Brooke Seiler? You probably don't know. Is she doing a teaser on the front?
Yes.
Yes, I know.
And they have like pictures of Joseph Pilates, and they talk about the whole process. And they go through like most of them you're doing, like they'll go through the roll up and the saw and all these things, and they explain in writing how to do them all. Yeah. So that one I love. I read most of that one, and I'm always like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. And then the other one's called Pilates on the Ball, and it has the big, this big ball. Are they called Pilates balls?
Yeah, or just an exercise ball. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a whole bunch of ways you can do it. Because we have one of those in our basement. I was like, hey, that's kind of fun. So anyway, those are my 2.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, love it. I love Pilates. I'm a huge fan. So, okay, should we move on to routines?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. Solid routines list. This is what's going to complete our our core that we're talking about, our powerhouse. Okay. So we talked about the calendar. We talked about the next actions list. We talked about the current projects list and having our projects tiered. Now we're talking about the routines list. So this is where I put Pilates right now. It's on my routines list. I don't do it on my calendar because every day right now is different for me depending on what's going on in our home and life and family. But this is on my daily routines list. So the goal is that you have a place to put your ideal life. What would I be doing? And I actually do this in Asana, where I have, see how it says like my routines? That's the name of the project.
Okay.
So if you like open my Asana and you looked on the left, you would see April's like personal projects. And it would say April's routines, April's personal projects, April's family projects. Like it's super specific that way.
Mm-hmm.
But April's routines list, my routines, I have these subtitles: daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, twice a year, and yearly. So whenever I have an idea, like, okay, every day I want to be thinking about this one thing, or I want to do Pilates, or I want to make sure my emails are at 0, or, and every week, okay, I'm going to have a date night with my husband, or, what is it that you want to do in your life, in your business, family, your personal life? And you create like your wish list of here's what my ideal life would look like. Now, once you have that though, there is no way that we can do every routine perfectly every day, every week. Like this is kind of the wish list. So the way that I look at this is not as, hey, you have to do this all the time, because that's the mistake I made prior to this. I gave myself a very rigid schedule of every routine I had to do all the time. And I was trying to stick to it a lot. And then it just made me angry, because then if I got tired and I couldn't do it, it was like, well, you either have integrity and you do your routines, or you take a nap. And then I never picked the nap because I was like, I need to have integrity and do my routines. And so then I would get tired and cranky and I would yell at my family. And the way you know you have too much on your plate is if you're getting cranky with the people that you're living with. And, and I find that the minute I start getting cranky, it's like, okay, what am I expecting of myself? That's like not human, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we think of it like your multiple choice perfect day. So some days I'm going to knock it out of the park and I'm going to have a lot of great things. Some days I'm going to get a lot more rest and I'm going to replenish, or I'm just going to snuggle with my kids and our dog, or I'm just going to maybe invest a little more in learning, reading, right? You want to give yourself that flexibility. But what I will say is I put together, and you can kind of see it. I use this app, the Streaks app. And I do have Pilates on here, okay? So I have like 4 things that are like my must-dos before I check my email. And I'm 59 days into it. Like I have been doing this every day. I told my daughter this morning, I'm like, I've done Pilates every day for 59 days. And she's like, oh, that's great. I'm like, no, like that deserves like, I'm like, I'm doing it.
You go post it in the group and you'll get a lot of cheers. Okay.
And of course I'm not doing it for the applause, right? I'm doing it for me.
No. Yes.
But
we get that, like, that's a big deal. Like,
big deal.
To do
even
that
like it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, oh, I didn't do Pilates yet. So I mean, sometimes I'm so tired. I'm like laying on my carpet, just doing like leg circles, and like, the bridge. I'm like, I can do those without having to sit up. Right. But like, it's just that thought. So this is really all I put on like my have to do list. I do these 4 things every day. Otherwise I kind of work from the routines list, I wake up in the morning. I always leave the room clean when I leave it. That's like a routine. I love it, but that's natural. And I don't have to remind myself to do it because I just do that every day. So the goal is that you want to get these routines outlined to the point that your brain knows, okay, this is what I'm going for. But then you put them mostly on autopilot and you give yourself that space and that flexibility and that grace. But what a lot of people do is they put all their routines on the calendar or all their routines on the next actions list, and they're trying to earn check marks, because you get that burst of dopamine when you check something off, which I get. But we want to extract the routines and put them on a routines list that you can kind of look at once a week, review it, work from it, but see it more as a tool that serves you rather than you trying to serve the list. Like I was a woman I was talking to, and she said, I have on my list that I mop the floor every day at 4:00 or something like that, or once a week at 4:00. She's like, and if it's 4:00 and I'm angry and I'm tired, I just mop angry. Like that's what she said. And I'm like, that's not my goal. I want to feel good during the day. I want to enjoy my family. I want to feel like, hey, I'm moving at a pace that feels good. And like how you talk about, that's why I love the balanced life so much, because you're honoring yourself. You're taking care of yourself. You're checking in. And having this routines list has made like the biggest difference to be able to do that. Okay.
Great.
Any thoughts or questions or anything on that?
Let's see. Yeah. Feel free to type in questions if you have. I don't have any other than I'm just thinking I want to mention for those, I know a lot of people in our community also use Power Sheets because I've shared about those before, which is like a monthly goal planner. And I just wanted to point out, so if you're not using Asana, or that, I'm like totally lost what I was saying. Power Sheets also has a good spot for this. So for people who want to like track, they have a little spot for daily, weekly, so I think I just wanted to point that out for those people who are thinking, if I don't use Asana, where can I do this?
Yeah.
Power Sheets is good, or your just regular planner that you have, right? And keeping kind of a little.
Or you can make a little, just one page you print out, or something you write out. It can be written, it can be whatever you want. I have a friend of mine who, she actually wrote out her daily, weekly, monthly, everything lists. She framed them, and then she used a dry erase marker to like check them off.
Yeah.
So it's whatever works for you. If you're like, oh, I'd rather do paper, or I just want it on, the standalone frames that you can get that hold like an 8x10 or 8x11, like a regular sheet of paper. Have a little standalone frame, stick it in that, put it somewhere. But I think having it either visual, like in a digital place where you're going to see it, or posted, something that gives you like an official feeling, like these are my routines I'm going for, without the guilt. Because I've made the routine list before that had the guilt with it, and I was like tense all day, every day, feeling like, oh, I gotta do it all. We don't want to feel that way. We want to feel like we just introduce maybe a couple new things at a time, one new thing at a time, get these things on autopilot, right? And then improve from there.
Yeah, and it's the intention, right? It's just, and that's what we talk about in the balanced life, right? And then you can have grace over guilt, right? That's how we want to approach everything, whether it's our workouts or whether it's these routines. Like, it's good to be intentional. If we're not intentional, then we often feel like we're drowning, or we don't actually make progress in the areas we want to make progress. So how can we use tools like this to be intentional and yet still give ourselves that grace when we need it? And so I think,
and people will tell me all the time, and I hear this all the time, and I know the advice is meant to be helpful, but I just don't think it is. And this is the advice that you get, especially if you have children. Just enjoy your kids. Don't worry about all the other stuff. Like, I hear that so much. And while it rings true, part of it, like, oh, I should just enjoy my family, or I should enjoy my life. It's really hard to enjoy your life when you don't feel like you have any structure or any progress. It's like you're giving up all of your like goals or dreams. So these things I've talked about today, just these calendars, lists, how to organize projects, how to organize routines, it gave me the structure so I finally could enjoy my children, and I could enjoy going on a walk. My brain is calm. My kids are like, just come snuggle with the dog for a minute. I'm like, okay. We lay down and we snuggle with the dog, and nothing is in my head. And that's the goal. And I'll just want to bring up one other thing. This is my daughter in Ukraine. Okay, Robin, she's loving your workouts. I got to tell you, this is her Pilates center that she made. Now, she has all hard floors. She's in this little apartment in Ukraine. She's like, she has to stay in because, all the stuff going on. She's like, Mom, I can't even get out to exercise very much. It's driving me crazy. She has your YouTube, all the Pilates stuff you have on YouTube, and you have some on Facebook because she can't access the sisterhood from her phone. She just has a smartphone. She sets this up, and she's doing Pilates every day. And she's like, Mom, it's been such a lifesaver. Like, I'm loving it. But in having like that routine, you want to set yourself up where you're going to have success. Anyway, she's just so cute. She goes, I even have my Hydro Flask because Robin has Hydro Flask.
That is amazing. I love this. And this is such an encouragement. First of all, tell her I say good job.
I will.
And this is like amazing that she's taking care of herself in this way, even though she could have every excuse in the book to be like, I can't, I'm in a small place. I have hard floors. I can't get out. But let this be an encouragement to all of us. If she can do it, we can do it too. And even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes, like, it's always worth it. So this is so great.
I know. And I can kind of zoom in and show you. You can kind of see her. There's Aaliyah. She's a full girl. Costco. That's super cute. Okay. So, but then I'm just kind of in closing up, and then any other final things you want to say. I'm just going to show you some before and after pictures. This is what we help people do. And we'll give Robin a link if you're interested in learning more how to build the whole Command Central, how to build the whole system. We help people who have piles of stuff. If you have a desk that looks like kind of this one on the left, and you're like, I would rather have the one on the right, or you want to be able to have your mind, a lot of people's minds feel like this, right? Feels overwhelming. We want to create order. My goal is to help you to create order in your mind, in your family, in your home, in your office. And if you think like, oh, there's no hope for me, I'm just a mess, everything's crazy, I promise you it's totally doable. Like, this is absolutely possible. This is my Command Central. Kind of, you combine this with like Google Calendar, you know, my planner, some digital resources. This is what we do. But our goal is just to be able to help you find that relief, because I know you come to Robin, you come to Balanced Life because you want some kind of relief in some way that you can actually move forward and feel good in the midst of craziness, right? Mm-hmm. And our goal is, let's help you actually make that possible mentally as well, so that you can have that balance. And it's totally possible.
Yes. Thank you, April. And what I love about you is you take the approach that we take here at the Balanced Life, is just exactly that. Like, you don't have to be, you know, I think sometimes people feel like they either are a super organized, list-driven, like routine person, or they're not. And it's like, or they think they're, you know, same thing with exercise. Like, I'm either this person who's into fitness and I go to the gym and I drink protein shakes and or I'm not. And I think what we, you know, both present is that there can be that happy medium, and that way of finding something that works for you, that's realistic, that works with your natural tendencies, and you don't have to, you know, go to extremes in order to find some rhythm and some balance or build strength or whatever it might be. So thank you. And you guys, I will post the link to April's course, but also just other resources that she has, because I wanted to invite her in because last year she taught us how to get our inboxes to zero, which is also amazing because just the way her brain works and how she makes everything that's overwhelming seem so simple and doable. She just has a gift in that, which I love that about you, April. And then, of course, the fact that you're a sisterhood member is just so much fun, because you also can speak to like how you have used these tools to help you build this habit of Pilates where you're on day 59. So thank you. We'll share the links to that. And you guys, I encourage you to just go check out April and all of her wonderful resources. I think you'll be encouraged and just feel supported through what she teaches. So April, I have one last question for you about the Pilates, just for the community that's at home right now, figuring out, okay, I was in a good groove, or I've been wanting to get in a good groove, but now everything has changed. So for you, did you say Pilates is on your routines list? So it's not a to-do, but it's just one of your routines. Is that something, how's that changed for you?
Yeah. So, okay, what we did is we set up a routine for the whole family, and it's posted in our kitchen. And we created a routine that's short enough for us all to memorize. Like, it's super simple, but it provides space to do the things that matter for all of us. So what we do is, like, we figured out pretty quickly, if we didn't have a routine in place, we were all going different directions. And then someone needs the iPad and someone needs their computer, and people are, I mean, it was like insane. And I know people get it. So, and we thought, well, we don't really have to go to bed at the same time or get up at the same time, because we used to get up at 6 every morning, and it was pretty early. So what we're doing right now is we have the whole family gathers. We do like a little morning family meeting and prayer and that type of thing at 8 a.m. So we're like, okay, you can get up earlier if you want, but no one's going to talk to us until 8 a.m. We start talking at 8. We do that from 8 to 8:30. And then 8:30 to 10:30 is like a flexible morning time where everyone does exercise, breakfast, shower, anything personal you want to do. That's the time. So that's where I put my Pilates. And actually, our 12-year-old son, he has been doing your Pilates workouts too. He's like, I'll do Pilates. I'm like, all right, because, he's seen me do them.
Good for him.
And so I've got my 12-year-old, that's his PE. He like lays down, gets on the mat. We have a little section. He's like, our whole family is doing.
Awesome.
So we do that. And so that's my general window. But that really works for me because I have it as a window where I'm like, oh, if I feel like, hey, I want to get it done right after our family time, and then I'm going to move on, we take the dog for a walk or something like that, great. Or if I want to, do some other stuff like, oh, Eric and I need to sit down and make some decisions right now, I'll do it after that. So like today I did it, a little later, 11:30. But the goal is that you have just some chunks of time where, that could be my Pilates time. That's or like good. When I was sick, I was just doing it at night. We did like one TV show a night we'd watch together. Mm-hmm. So while the family's watching TV, I'm laying on the floor doing Pilates.
Yeah.
And so building it into your blocks and just thinking in your mind, like, because I had the Streaks app and I knew like, okay, I have the little notification, still have one more thing you got to do today. Like your Pilates is waiting. Then I made sure I was doing that each day. I do have one funny story though. We went to Disneyland. This is before they closed, but I took my kids to Disneyland and we did like a 2-day trip. It was super fun. I used to work there in high school, loved it. And so I took my kids. But I was like, oh, I've got Disneyland days, 2 full days. We were just like at the park from the minute it opened till the minute it closed. I'm like, I'm not going to have time or energy to do Pilates in the hotel before or after. So I did like bar workouts in line at Disneyland. So
that is so my style. I am all in on support on that. You got to do what you got to do.
Oh my gosh. My 16-year-old son was like, Mom, can you stop doing Pilates? We're in line at Disneyland. I'm like, no one's looking and I need to get in my 10 minutes. And so I'm totally doing all of the stuff I've been learning. It was really fun. But so I think if you can create some kind of a general schedule, like these are my work hours, these are my flexible hours, then as you're able to look at routines and projects and tasks, I mean, I feel like every day is a little bit like a puzzle, you're kind of trying to fit in self-care and work and family and emergencies and new stuff that comes up, so I feel like if I leave enough room in the puzzle, whereas extra pieces come in, I've got space for it, right? Yeah. So I only give myself like a few puzzle pieces a day because I know I'm going to get some that are going to come in unexpected. Mm-hmm. So you create it like that. And then you work the puzzle, each hour as you're making decisions. Okay, what would be most appropriate to do next? But your lists are short. You feel really good. You're super focused. So you're not spending any time spinning your wheels. That's the goal. Mm-hmm. And then one final thing I'll just share is so we've actually been working on a lot of puzzles as a family lately because we've got all this time inside. But the kids are starting to yell at each other. Who's trying to get the last piece? Or you're in my space or whatever, kind of yelling as we're doing these puzzles. And I kept telling the kids, hey, the point of doing a puzzle is to build the family relationships. The point is not to get a puzzle done. You could buy a poster if you just wanted a picture. We bought puzzles because we're working together as a family and it's teamwork. So I like to think about our lives that way too. The point of putting the puzzle together isn't because you're trying to come up with I have to make a certain amount of money or check things off my list or be a certain pant size, right? You want to put it together with this intention of who am I becoming in the process? What's our family becoming? What am I creating in the world? And I think that as we take that perspective, it just takes that pressure off and helps us realize, hey, we're making progress. We're working together. We're celebrating each other. We're learning from each other. And then I think when we do that, that's when you start to have a life that feels full of joy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's such a good reminder. That's so great. Thank you so much, April. This has been wonderful. I cannot wait to share it with our community for just anyone who's looking for some practical strategies to kind of reorient, reduce some stress, reduce some overwhelm in a very doable way. So thank you so much for taking your precious time, where I know you have a lot going on right now too, to share that with us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Robin.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, I hope that was as fun for you as it was for me to have the chance to participate. I love the energy that comes when you're talking about solutions, ways that you can actually make all the craziness go away. And I hope that if you are new here at Learn, Do, Become, that you will take advantage of our free training at learndobecome.com/step. Of course, go to the show notes page, learndobecome.com/episode 95. And then I would love to share just a few stories, a few snippets of things I've received via email in the past week or so, because these voices from people in our community, they're so inspiring. Okay, so I'll just share a few. This first one is from someone who works at a hospital, And she said, important and not so important COVID emails that change daily and even every few hours are another source of overwhelm. I truly need to refer to these, regularly review, and keep many, but my inbox was bursting with them. So, a COVID folder was born in her email and is filled with important items. I do look at these as they come in because they're items I need to see. This had a snowball effect, and I was able to see some important items that I needed to use the 2-minute rule on, so it felt amazingly accomplished when I made it to inbox 0. I am now off a few days, but my frame of mind is so much better than it was at the beginning of the week. I do feel that I will be more productive and will be able to accomplish more at my job. Such an amazing experience. Okay, I'm so proud of her for doing that. Then she shared how she was helping her coworkers and teaching them how to do the same thing. And then she said, wow, thank you so much. Step is paying for itself again and again. And while I'm not trying to make this a Step commercial, I just want you to get a feel for the energy that is coming through, because it is amazing to watch people who are hard workers, contributing to society, just trying to balance all the stuff coming at them and see what's happening in their lives when they have the Step system in place. And in fact, I just worked this morning on our emails to 0 module. We're simplifying it and making it super easy for people to go through. And I am thrilled for you guys and can't wait to share more about what's happening there. All right, here's another email. It says, our command center is becoming focused. I'm transitioning into a new planner, and yesterday we each did our next steps. Phone calls, scheduled appointments, he vacuumed, I used the 3-box method and arranged the bookshelves, donating generously, including empty notebooks and papers for kids back to school, and took pleasure in arranging some open space with a few special family pics and mementos in 3 emptied shelves. Current projects, emails, and paper clutter. Next step, review the Gmail email podcast. She's going to make those 3 files, get sorted, get shredding, and make the someday piles and filing the rest. Okay, and if none of this makes sense to you, come into our Step program. We'll show you how it works, because it is so fun when people start making this progress, clearing bookshelves, getting things on the projects list, getting things on the next actions list, all the stuff we were talking about today in this class with Robin. This is being applied in real lives all over the world. And that's why I'm so passionate about that, because can you just feel the energy, how fun that is? Love it so much. Okay, and this final one was just beautiful. This was posted in our Facebook group, and it was someone who said, I finished all the modules last week, just in time, as my husband had a heart attack Friday morning and was transferred 50 miles by ambulance. Now, because of the current situation, she had to leave her husband at the door of the ER and couldn't be by his side, all right? But then she said, so what does Step have to do with this? For one thing, I knew that all my landing spots were cleared, and there was nothing urgent to take care of, as the only things waiting were good until my next weekly review, usually on Wednesdays. I knew that bills for the next 10 days or more were either automated or had been scheduled through our bank's bill pay service. Part of my weekly review is looking ahead at least 2 weeks, so I love that part. And then she said, I don't have all of the tasks in all of the modules completed to the optimal level, but my command central is working. It made a terribly stressful situation just a little easier, as I didn't have to worry about what important task I was forgetting, or worse, have it nag at me when all I wanted to do was pray for my husband and his caregivers, keep the family updated, and be totally present with a clear mind. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And I just feel so proud of this individual for being able to be present during this family emergency, being able to keep things together, and for working in advance, right? To be prepared for whatever might come. And that's how I feel it works for all of us. We have challenges that are coming our way, and a lot of times we can't see them. But if we can prepare that foundation and have things organized and have things clear, we're going to feel so good, and we're going to have that energy. And then when those key moments come where our best focus needs to be on either the ones we love or a specific task or a specific project, we'll have the bandwidth to do that. So just hope that you enjoy hearing from these amazing community members. Hope you have a wonderful day. We will see you soon. Probably the best place to go is our show notes page to get more if you want to hear more or see more of all the things that we've talked about today. And that's learndobecome.com/episode 95. Okay, have a great day. See you soon.